Hey everybody. Uh, so last week I kind of talked about some things that I've discussed recently with some businesses who were struggling. Excuse my voice, it's kind of gravelly and gross sounding. It's been rainy and crappy weather out here lately in Cincinnati, so hey, fall's here. But I've had some conversations with some businesses who are doing well and some businesses who are struggling a little bit. And since my passion is small business and wanting to grow them, wanting them to succeed, wanting to see them achieve whatever it is that their dreams are for their business and everything, it's like been bothering me lately. And so what I figured I'd talk about today is expanding on the fact that why, 3 main reasons why your small business may be struggling, and the things that play into that. And you say, well, I have a business, you don't know me, you don't know my business, you don't even know what I do. Well, you're right, but after studying business after business after business, and the successful ones and the ones who were successful for a while and failed, and the unsuccessful ones, and just some people that I may come in contact with who had businesses and all this other stuff, and people who are currently struggling and not able to support themselves with their business by itself, all of those things. So they're all, when you talk to these people and you hear these stories or you look at case studies and things like that, you kind of know some patterns, and they're all typically the same. So even though I may not know what business you are in, or may not know you or your business personally, if you're struggling, it probably falls into one or two or possibly all three of these areas at some point, or now, or it did at one point, or it may in the future if you still haven't started up your business. So let's just get into it. The first big point is that your business could be failing on the front end just based on the fact that you are not giving any value to your potential customers or potential clients. And that may not even be necessarily true per se, but it could be one of 3 things with that. Either you don't have any value that you are giving customers, or perceived value from your customers, because that's really what's important, is perceived value on their part, not even the fact that you are giving value on your end. Because if you provide a service or if you sell a product, you're giving some level of value. But the perception of that value is what is going to drive your sales, is what is going to drive your business. So a place like Walmart or Costco or Sam's Club or some big retail chain like that, they give value, sure, but their value is extremely minimal compared to someone who, or a mom and pop grocery store or someplace like that. I guarantee you, if you go into that smaller grocery store, you're going to be given much better service than you are when you go into Walmart. Why is that? Well, Walmart doesn't really rely on your money when it comes down to it. Walmart has enough invested in itself and enough enough stores and other ways to make money elsewhere that they don't really rely on you specifically. Because no matter what Walmart does, somebody's going to go shop at Walmart. I guarantee you that. Why? Because they're everywhere. So even in places where there's not anything but a few mom and pop grocery stores and Walmart, people are still going to go to Walmart. Why? Because their selection is probably wider. The prices are probably cheaper. But when that happens, when a company gets so big, something tends to suffer unless they keep track of it, unless they keep after it. And there's a lot of things that also go into that too. But just on the face of it, the value that they provide their customers is extremely minimal, other than the products that they sell. Like I say, so you may not have a perceived value from your customers. The second thing with value that you may be having, or problem with value that you may be having, is that it's not communicated, or it's not communicated well enough. You could have this awesome coaching course, or this awesome course on how to lose weight, or this awesome book on how to lose weight, or how to grow your financial portfolio, or whatever it is. You could have this awesome product that could change everybody's life. But if you don't communicate that, or if you don't communicate the right message, nobody knows. And nobody knows to care. So if you can't, if your value is not communicated to your customers, then they may not even know or care to know of the value that you can provide them. So therein lies the second issue, or second potential problem with value. And the third is that maybe you don't know, you as the business itself don't know the inherent value in something that you could offer somebody. Maybe it's just something that you do and you don't even realize that it could be it's valuable information, or it's a valuable product, or it's valuable service to somebody. And maybe you're just kind of winging it when it comes to that. Even something as simple as somebody who sells t-shirts. You're providing value on multiple levels. One, people need clothes. People are always going to need clothes. And guess what? People are always going to buy clothes. It's just a basic necessity of life. So you have value on that scale. Secondly, if you provide high quality shirts, okay, fine. Now you have a higher quality product which provides more value. If you provide low quality shirts, but you provide custom t-shirts, okay, now you're providing more value than somebody who just sells plain low quality t-shirts, because you can customize them. And potentially, to some people, you may even provide more value because you customize shirts. You may provide more value to somebody who's looking for a higher quality shirt, but then somebody can't customize them or doesn't have the ability to do that. You may provide more value with them than them, even though you have a lower quality shirt. But it's all based on who your customer is and what they're going after. One of the guys that I follow always, says these secrets to business and whatever else are the secrets to successful startup and all these other things are to find a hot market, ask them what they want, and give it to them. And it's literally that simple. And it's not rocket science when it comes to that, but there's a methodology to it, and there's a right and wrong way to do it. But at its face and on the most simple level, that's what it is. So, how do we create and how do we get that value across? Well, there's several ways. There's social media, there's paid advertisements, there's paid advertisements on social media, there's paid advertisements on the internet, there's paid advertisements in written form, direct mail, all these things. And these are typically the things that you throw under the umbrella of marketing, that people understand of how you communicate your value and how you present your value to your customers. Some work better than others, and some are working exponentially better than others. Others work better in certain areas. It just depends on all kinds of variables of where you are. But I guarantee you there is an affordable way to do it, and there is an efficient way to do it. And in some ways will work better wherever you are, or whatever you sell is another variable. But there are basics that work across the board. So even though something may not work as well, it's still it can still be of value to you as a business, even just to know that, well, we did this and it didn't work too well, so was it this methodology or was it our message? And so value and providing value to your potential clients and customers is the lifeblood of your business. Let's put it that way. The reason why I do videos is to provide value to the viewer. Because if I didn't, and I could put this all in written form, whatever else, but if you don't have the time to sit and watch a video, or if you don't have the time to sit and read an article or whatever else, and you have time to put a video on in the background and then continue doing something else or whatever else, even if you hear 10% of that, that's still some sort of value. Now, if I take this video and then I write a transcript of it and then post the video, and then post a link to the transcript, now I'm providing more value to whoever comes across and sees the video. So there are a million different ways, and a million different ways people receive information and like receiving information. Some people love to sit and read a paperback book or a hardcover book. I'm the kind of person that's more than happy to put it on an iPad and just flip through it, or flip through it on a computer screen. I don't have to have the tangible book. And there's pros and cons to that. Obviously, in a book form, it's easy to highlight, it's easy to make notes and all that other stuff. Some digital formats won't allow you to do that. Some digital formats, it's hard to do that. So there's pros and cons to everything, but with like with a book, you have to carry around a book. I can carry around 1,000 books on my iPad, and carry around that much more information without having to carry around 1,000 books. So it's all it's all based on what your customers' perceived value of your service or product is. And the thing that also works with that, the second thing that your business might be struggling with, is what I spoke on in the last video last week, pricing and organization. If you are not pricing your products or services for what they are actually worth to you as your business, you're always going to struggle. It doesn't matter how much money you make, you're always going to struggle, because you can make a whole bunch of money, but the amount of work that you're putting in to make said money is disproportionate to the profit that you're making. For instance, if you are only making one time, 1.5 times or less, really, profit of what it costs you to provide that service or good, then your pricing is extremely off. Especially in low profit margin businesses and industries. For instance, the restaurant business. The rule of thumb for a restaurant, and I don't know if you know this, but the rule of thumb for a restaurant to price a menu item is to take the cost of the item that they are making. So let's, for instance, use Outback Steakhouse, okay? And then let's say that we want a ribeye steak, bone-in ribeye. So just throwing out a number, it's probably going to be around $30 to $40 probably for that steak, because it's probably a sizable steak. It's a more expensive cut of meat. And then you're going to offer also on the side of that 2 sides, which are also going to increase the price. So you're looking at anywhere from 30 or 40 bucks, right? So let's take $30 to make it real easy. So if the menu price is at 30 bucks, divide that by 3. So it costs them around 10 bucks to make that plate of food. And they're selling it to you for 3 times the value. Why are they doing that? Well, one, it's a low profit margin industry, meaning that, they can't really sell it to you for 10 times what it costs. Because why? Because you could go out and just as easily learn how to cook a steak and learn how to make it yourself at home. Hey, imagine that. Because that's why when you go to the grocery and you buy a steak, it doesn't cost you $30. Because you have to put in the work, you have to put in the effort to cook it yourself. They couldn't sell you a steak for 30 bucks at the grocery. Nobody would buy it. And maybe somebody would that really wanted the steak, but their sales are going to drop dramatically, because if I'm going to spend 30 bucks on a steak at the grocery, I can go to a restaurant and get it for that price. Why don't I just do that? And all I have to do is show up and sit down. So the perceived value of the food is what's going to drive your action in that regard. Sorry. Also looking at Outback, what else do they provide? Well, at least as far as I know, at one time, they were the only people to offer their bloomin' onion, which is a deep fried onion that is split apart and cut into slivers and whatever else, and it's amazing, and I love them and everything else. But and I know some other places have started doing it recently, and they offer their dipping sauce or whatever too. But at least to my knowledge, and when I was a kid, it was the only place around here that offered that. Or at least the only place that I knew of that offered that. So their value has already been increased before I even walk in the door, because I know that they are the people that offer this, and they're the only ones that offer this. And even if they're not the only one that offers, the bloomin' onion or whatever it's termed elsewhere, if theirs is better than other people's, then there's more value there, because I don't want to go and pay somebody to make me garbage food. So why do restaurants do that? Well, for a couple of reasons. They are a business. They have to make money to survive. And they have to pay people, because other people depend on that business for a paycheck. So and also they have to pay for their food costs. So the rule of thumb is to multiply their their plate cost by 3, so they can pay the business, pay the workers, and pay the gas and electric bill at the end of the month. So those 3 things are the 3 general areas that the money goes to. And that's why they multiply their plate cost by 3. Now, when you look at how much food that they sell in a day, that's pretty good money, right? But there's also a lot that goes into that. They have a lot of employees to pay, all that other stuff. If it's a mom and pop shop doing that, or mom and pop, restaurant doing that, then they're probably not going to sell as much food in a single day as an Outback Steakhouse does. Or, if they're selling food for a lower price, they're not going to make as much per plate of food. So that therein comes in less money just based on what kind of food you're selling. And so if the mom and pop shop isn't communicating their value, isn't getting their message across, or doesn't have any value in that regard to offer their potential customers, what do you think's going to happen? You can't survive forever without providing some kind of value or service to your customers. And if they don't know that, you can't survive either. So those are the first 2 real big issues. 1 is value, and 2 is pricing and organization. Like I said in the last video, that even if you made $1 million and your business is not properly structured, you're still going to be broke because you have no idea where this money's going, or it's all going to the wrong places. So your organization has to be in place too. The organization of your business has to be in place too, better said. And the organization of your pricing is key, because what other things are involved with value? Well, let's look at it. Let's go back to the Outback Steakhouse, right? So they have the bloomin' onion. So boom, right off the bat, before I even get there, I already know they have this awesome onion appetizer that I really want, that I enjoy, and so I'm gonna go in there and get that. Then they have they offer the kind of food that I'm looking for at that point in time, which is a steak, or which is some chicken or whatever, and they offer it how I like it cooked, on a wood fire grill, or whatever. So there's more value there. On top of that, they offer a rewards program. So if I go there so many times or whatever, I get a free appetizer, or I get $10 off my meal, or whatever. Or if their membership program says you get 25% off your meal every time you come in, I don't know. There's value in that. And they have, during certain parts of the year, I don't know, because the NASCAR season runs like the whole year, and so I don't know if it's segmented at some point or what, but they sponsor Kevin Harvick, I guess, or somebody, and every time they finish in a top 10, you get a free bloomin' onion if you mention it, or whatever. And I don't know if you have to be a part of a membership program with that either, but they give away a free bloomin' onion when you come in there after sometime during the week after the race. So there's more value there. And on the face, it seems like, it seems like they're giving away an awful lot. Yeah, that may be true. But I guarantee you that their pricing structure is organized to where they can give that money away and it's not going to hurt their bottom line. because no business wants to, and no business can survive, because let's face it, we're in a capitalistic society. The business is created to make money and nothing more. It does that through providing service and value and everything to their customers, but that's not why the business was created. Don't let anybody kid you. Any business is created to make money for the people who own it. So no matter what the business is, no matter if it's mom and pop, no matter if it's corporation or anything, the business exists to make money for somebody. And that's really the end of it. How they go about it can be, judged as right and wrong, but every single business is created to make money, and that's it. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't survive. So it's that simple. Anyway, lost train of thought. Yeah, still out there. This was kind of awkward, ain't it? Yeah, so Outback Steakhouse, right? Pricing structure. Trying to talk myself back into this. Businesses are created to make money. Well, anyway, let's move on. Boom. Got it. So, why in the world, it seems like they're giving away a lot, right? And why in the world would they do that? Well, plain and simple, the pricing structure is organized to make them the money back that they would be giving away. How do they do that? Through providing value in other ways to certain people. It's not going to apply to everybody because it doesn't apply to me when I go in there, but one of the biggest profit-making machines in the restaurant business is alcohol. So, which is exactly why when you go to a sit-down restaurant, the first thing they do is, well, can I get your drinks? Sure. And when you say sure or whatever, what is the first thing typically out of the waiter or waitress's mouth? Well, our special, our happy hour is right now, and we have this beer on tap for half off, or we have this wine as a special right now for half off or 25% off or whatever it is. Why is that? Because alcohol is one of the biggest profit-making menu items for them. Why does Olive Garden have a bar? Why do you think that is? They serve wine at the table. Why do they need a bar? Well, not only can they just seat, individual customers who just come in for lunch real quick or whatever else, or maybe out and got hungry, didn't really plan on eating out, but I can go in there and eat real quick at the bar and not have to wait for a table and all this other stuff and get served quicker and whatever else. But people who sit at the bar or who want to sit at the bar typically also want to order a drink or more than one. So, that's why a restaurant like Olive Garden Olive Garden isn't known for their beer sales or whatever, and their menu items don't really go with beer or anything else. But why do they have a bar? For that very reason, because the profit margins are so much larger when it comes to selling a single drink of alcohol, regardless of what drink it is, than it is selling a plate of food. And it's that simple. So, and there's multiple ways that they can approach this, and it's a multi-faceted value system that they work with. And it's that way with every business, or it should be, because if it's not, then I guarantee you're probably struggling. And so what am I really talking about? It's really a way to ascend your customers through your value system, right? chances are that your business doesn't offer just one thing. It could, but it's probably not doing very well, right? Or you're probably struggling season to season, depending on what it is. For instance, like a landscaping business. I've known plenty of people over the years that have either worked for or had a landscaping business, right? A landscaping business is great if you live in a climate where it's warm all the time. You know, if you live in Arizona or someplace like that. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I've never been out there. But a landscaping business when I lived in Hawaii, that was an extremely profitable business. Why? Because it's like a landscaper's dream. Because you're in a climate where it's warm year-round, varying degrees of warm anyway. It's fairly rainy frequently, and so plants grow like crazy. I mean, you can literally see stuff grow overnight. It's insane. And those guys who do that out there are always out there working their butts off because there's always work to be done. So it's an extremely profitable business to have in that kind of climate. But if you come here to Cincinnati, where we have 4 seasons, your landscaping business, if all you offer is mowing lawns and cutting weeds and pruning shrubs and trees and all that kind of stuff, if that's all you offer, well, there's half of a year or more that you're not going to be very profitable. Why? Because half of the year or more, the temperature is cold. Grass grows slower. It doesn't rain as much, or we don't get as much precipitation. We don't have as much sun, so the grass doesn't grow. And, in the fall, the trees lose their leaves and everything else. So I don't need you, and the trees will grow at a much slower rate. So I don't need you to come, and cut my tree back or cut my bushes back or anything like that for half or more of the year. So if you only offer something that's going to do me any good seasonally, well, I'm only going to pay you for the spring and summer, and maybe not even the spring, maybe just the summer months. So, you have to have multiple services in order to do well, which is why a lot of landscapers will offer, hey, we'll rake up all your leaves for you in the fall. Hey, we'll shovel your driveway when it snows. Things like that. A lot of those guys do all of those things to try to keep business year round because they have to feed their family, and this is their business and what they want to do. So they have to find ways to work year round. And let me be the first to tell you that not all of them, especially a lot of the smaller businesses, don't do that because they don't have either they don't have customers, or they don't have the right message, or they don't have the right equipment to be able to do it. So a lot of those guys are either employed for half of a year, pick up a second job for half of a year every year, which is not going to be the world's greatest job because nobody wants to keep hiring and firing, or hiring and letting go, or excuse me, hiring and somebody leaving every year. So they're obviously not super high paying jobs, and depending on their personal situation, that may or may not break them, or depending on equipment needs and fixes that have to be done in the off season. There's so many things that could go wrong if you don't have a constant flow of income. So how do you do that? Well, first, and the most easy way to do it is to have a low barrier of entry, right? So you have something that you're going to offer somebody for free or nearly free, or something like that, like a free plus shipping book offer. You see a lot online nowadays, where I'll give you this book for free. You just, cover the shipping cost of it, $5 or $7. It's usually less than 10, unless it's shipping internationally, and even still, sometimes it's less than 10. But why would they do that? Well, the easiest answer is they're bringing you into their world because they gave you something for free. So what do they do when they do that? Well, they ask you for your email address. They may ask you for your phone number. They ask you for your shipping address for the product. And with that information, they can begin to market to you. They can begin to send you direct mail if they offer that, or if they do that. If I guarantee you, they got your email address, so they start to send you email offers or whatever on a semi-frequent or frequent basis. However, people do it differently, and you start to see, when they're running sales and all this other stuff, and special promotions or whatever. They tell you about their Facebook group and whatever else, so more value can be added there, and also they can market to you within their own Facebook group. All of these things are ways that they are trying to get you to spend more money with them. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's Walmart or if it's the Chinese restaurant down the street. If they're doing a successful job at bringing in new people and bringing in business, that's the methodology, and one of the most successful methodologies to do it today. Everybody's on Facebook now. You're talking about almost 2 billion people monthly worldwide are on Facebook. A third of the United States every single day is on Facebook. So, if you're not on Facebook with your business, you're leaving so much money out there to grab. And let me tell you, it's working extremely well for a lot of people. And so, if you're not there yet, or if you don't know what to do, or you don't have anything set up, or if this isn't your thing or whatever else, comment below, let me know, message me, get in contact with me, because I'd love to help you out. I'd love to help and see how we can help grow your business, and do that, and so that you could be more successful in what you do. That's really my purpose, and the purpose that I want to serve is to help you to do what you love doing. Because I'm doing what I love in helping businesses. I want the businesses to worry more so about doing what they love and serving their customers without having to worry about all these other things. And once we structure what your value system and how you work people through that and get them to higher levels of value, then everything becomes automatic, and you don't all of these worries of how am I going to pay the bills at the end of the month, or where am I going to find new people to come in that don't know me, or how can I reach these people, and all these other things. All of that becomes a thing of the past, and all of it becomes automatic as long as the proper systems are in place. And so that's, my three main secrets, if you will, or three main trouble areas and pitfalls, better said, of why your business may be struggling. Because there's not enough or no perceived value by your customers. Your pricing and organization isn't properly in place and doesn't benefit your business. It may benefit your customers because you're offering a product at a cheaper price than your competitors or anything else, but it doesn't do you any good if it's not properly priced or if your business isn't properly organized. And then your ascension system, your value system, is either not properly structured or non-existent, which is the case with a lot of people that I've actually talked to. Even businesses who have been successful for years. Just because you're successful doesn't mean that all of these things are in place, because there's varying degrees of what people consider successful and varying degrees of where people want to take their business. So maybe you are making $1 million a year or whatever, but I guarantee you can double that, you can triple that, you can quadruple that, you can multiply it by any number and become more successful and reach more people and serve more people and do bigger and better things than you are now, if you get all of these things in place. So anyway, I think that's enough for today. Like and share this video, comment below, or email me or message me. Get a hold of me if you want to know more, or if you would like me to help out with whatever your business is. It doesn't matter. We can help you out. We can get you where you want to be and get you moving in the right direction. So anyway, hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.